Welcome back, everybody. Protests are planned for today in New York City to show solidarity with the trans community in Tennessee after the state passed a law banning drag performances in view of children. It's just one of dozens of anti-trans bills that were introduced or passed by Republican state legislatures across the country this week. They include a Florida law that would codify gender-affirming care as child abuse. And on the federal level, a House committee advanced a bill that would ban transgender students from competing on sports teams consistent with their gender identity. Drag Race host RuPaul called out the GOP for targeting the community for political points.
We know that bullies are incompetent at solving real issues. They look for easy targets so they can give the impression of being effective. They think our love, our light, our laughter, and our joy are signs of weakness. But they're wrong, because that is our strength.
Peppermint was the runner-up on the 9th season of RuPaul's Drag Race. She's also a trans actress and activist and member of the GLAAD board of directors and joining us now. Peppermint, thank you so much for joining us on this. We appreciate it. I want to talk specifically about the Tennessee ban, and it was purposely written vague. When you think about the drag performers, when you think about transgender individuals, you think about the Pride Parade as well, how worried are you for safety?
I think the thing that is so insidious about this bill specifically is that it is so vague. And while it does clearly target and put drag entertainers, small businesses that employ drag entertainers at a disadvantage and put them at risk, it also opens up a lot of folks in the trans community and make them more vulnerable. Unfortunately, the resources that the community has to fight back against these discriminatory laws and bills that are not only happening in places like Tennessee, but we see that they're basically copying and pasting this language, this type of language, and using it in other local legislatures across the country. But the reason why this is so one of the reasons why this is so terrible, aside from the fact that drag is an expression of free speech and it's an art form and it's a way that queer people and LGBTQ plus people celebrate their community, it's also pulling resources and attention from the few people that are trying to fight within the community, away from protecting the most vulnerable people in the community, many transgender people and transgender youth.
I also want to play this sound for you. It was an exchange with Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin, who supported restrictions on sports bathrooms targeting trans students. And he faced a question from a trans man at a town hall. Listen to this.
Look at me. I am a transgender man. Do you really think that the girls in my high school would feel comfortable sharing a restroom with me?
Yep. So first of all, Nico, thank you for, again, asking the question, being here tonight, and engaging in this important discussion. What's most important is that we try very hard to accommodate students. That's why I have said many, many times, we just need extra bathrooms in schools. We need gender-neutral bathrooms, and so people can use a bathroom that they, in fact, are comfortable with.
What do you make of the governor's response, kind of this runaround a bit that he gave?
Well, I do think that gender-neutral bathrooms are one way to address this whole bathroom conversation. But unfortunately, the bathrooms are not where this type of legislation is stopping. And I haven't had a chance to really review Governor Youngkin's full policies on trans policies. But I'm assuming that since that really brave high school student, Nico, was asking this question, that they aren't really in line with protecting trans individuals. We're seeing these as an attack on our community. And so attacking trans identity, attacking trans individuals in bathrooms, and attacking access to bathrooms and sports, and basically eradicating transgenderism from public life clearly is what is on the agenda for many politicians. And while I do think that gender-neutral bathrooms are a good place to start, it's certainly not the only thing that we're asking for when it comes to protections for LGBTQ individuals. And unfortunately, a lot of these policies and bills that are being put forth using rhetoric and online sort of, anecdotes that they hear, but not really with the participation of or really considering the lived experience of trans individuals. And so, unfortunately, when you do have a discriminatory law that bans access to gendered spaces like bathrooms and sports, you think that you're addressing, this idea of trans women in the bathroom, and what they're calling men in the bathroom, because they're saying they want to keep men out of women's spaces. But then, if you have trans men, which you do, then you're instantly forcing trans men to be in those very spaces that you're saying you want men not to be in.
What is, I want you to leave folks with the biggest misunderstanding that people have that support anti-trans, anti-LGBTQ plus bills, legislation.
Given that there was a recent Pew poll that says that most individuals, I think as many as 80% of Americans say that they don't personally know someone who's trans, they're getting a lot of their information about us from these same politicians that are making up this discriminatory language. And so one of the things I would want people to know, those who don't know and love someone who's transgender, is that being transgender is very real, and there is no separating trans identity from the individual. And that's why all of these bans and proposals that target bathroom, fair housing, education, employment. That's why they're so insidious and so dangerous. So trans individuals, we are who we say we are. Trans women are women, trans men are men. And if we can deal from a place of empathy, then that may be a good place to start. The other thing is that we are not out to transgender children are not having surgeries. That's really important to say. There's this misnomer that surgeries are being done on young children. That is absolutely not true. In most places, in most states in this country, you need to be over the age of 16, 17, or 18 in order to even get this type of treatment. So the treatment that is that doctors are providing is approved and supported by all the major medical organizations, and these doctors are doing it in partnership with the parents of the children. And so they're all working together to provide the healthiest options and resources for those children. And unfortunately, these bills are not just about children. They said they were, but now they're focusing on adults as well and trying to eradicate healthcare for transgender adults and young folks. And so, it's very vague and very messy, but it's really important that you take the time to listen to people in the community first.
And get to know them. Peppermint, we thank you so much.